Three, two, one. It's your man DJ Seiko doing the fly guy thing. And I have my good brethren, my long time brethren from way back in the day, brother from another mother and pops. I'll let you introduce yourself because I will say Dan Tres, myself, Ra. I can
Yeah, Dan Tres, just say Tres Omi. Like, don't throw everything out there, right? So, peace, Seiko, and no, straight up, Seiko. I love and I miss you. You've always been there for me and my family. You helped me put food on the table. So you and your folks, the entire family, has always been like very supportive of me and my family. So I miss y'all a lot. Miss the babies and everything. But Dan Tres Omi, I'm a writer, educator. I teach social justice to middle school kids. I'm also a b-boy, and I teach capoeira as well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What do we call ourselves? Middle-aged b-boys?
I don't use the word middle-aged, man. I don't do that yet.
Okay. Yeah, trick you, bro. Well, look, man, I wanted to chat it up with you, man, on this. I listened to your last podcast, and by the way, I definitely want you to talk about your podcast. In that podcast, you talked about the article that calls straight black men are the white people of black people. And I guess it was originally done by the brothers on the route. I think they're intelligent brothers. I can't think of the name of the
it's Damon Young or Damon Young, and he wrote it for Young Smart Brothers, and it actually they're affiliated to the Root with Root.com. So yeah, and let me just say this: that title was tweeted 2 years ago by the R&B songstress Marlena Machenko, and she got so much hate tweets, she had to shut down her Twitter account for about a couple months. And I know her personally, and that was kind of messed up. And then last year, Rodimus Prime of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast, he tweeted the same thing, and he pretty much had to stay away from his Twitter account, which he needs because he makes a living doing a podcast. He had to kind of leave his account alone because he got a lot of hate, particularly from black men. It was mostly black men, so cis hetero black men. So, and then just they're not saying anything new. People like the late great Audre Lorde have been saying this. People like Dr. Bell Hooks have been saying this. Alice Walker's The Color Purple is pretty much, that discussion, So it's something that black women, whether they were feminists or not, have been saying for a while, asking black men to hold themselves accountable. And so also to check our privilege. So it's not anything new. It's sad that, when, it's now on the table for discussion. Now we're discussing it because this is something that black women have been asking us for decades.
All right. Well, I listened to your podcast, and I'm glad you gave a little history lesson. I can always depend on you to get a history of some good stuff. Tell me about street harassment, man, because I've often been at odds with sisters when it comes to street harassment. I think we really are looking at it from two different sides of the coin. I think we're looking at two different things, actually.
No, and see, we got to be very careful, right? We got to be very, very careful. And actually, I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
If I'm walking down the street, and let's say, for example, I'm wearing a red flag, or a bandana, and a cop stops, he's in the hey, I'm pulling you over because I think you're in a gang, which happens in LA all the time, which happens in California and Chicago. Black men get pulled over by police and they're profiled, right? They're harassed, right? They're saying, hey, this is a flag for my baseball team, right? And they're like, nope. And what was happening in LA back in the day and what's happening in Chicago now is they would put your name in the system and say, hey, you're affiliated with gang members. We're going to put you in the database, right? So we're harassed, right? When we walk down the street, cops harass us and say, you fit the profile. What do they always say to us? They say, you fit the profile of somebody that just did a robbery, right? Or we're pulling you over because we heard that there was suspicious activity over here, right? They profile us. They're harassing us, right?
Right.
This happens to black women, black and brown women all around the country. And I actually had a friend of mine. She just explained to me how she actually gives out, fake numbers. But what's happening now with cell phones is that dudes will actually try to call her. Like they'll take the number right there in front of her and be like, this is a fake number.
Right.
Why? Because her experience has been when she's told them no, they've harassed her and threatened her, right? So it's actually happening, right? And look, just because she's wearing poom shorts or she's wearing a mini skirt doesn't mean that I have the right to call her whatever, to call out her name, right? She has the right to wear whatever she wants to wear, you know. But then again, there are women that wear 3/4 of cloth and they still harass, right? So what I'm saying to you, what the article was saying is, when sisters are saying they're being harassed, they're being harassed. We don't get that harassment from women because, you know, we're men, right? But at the same, and the reason why the article was called, you know, straight black men are the white people, because white people, when you talk to white people about racism, you know, first thing they're going to tell you is, I'm not racist. I don't do those kind of things. But we're like, that's not the point. The point is there are white people that are doing racist things towards us. And some of them are related to you, you know, and you need to check them. Instead of just saying, oh, I don't do that stuff. And a lot of times we men do that. Like, I don't harass women, right? But at the same time, it's not about me. And at the same time, I don't get props for not harassing women. I'm not supposed to harass women, right? So street harassment does happen, and we have to be cognizant of that. And we have to check the brothers when we go to the barbershop or the church or we in the locker room. We got to check them.
All right. But I think, well, and I can't really say it happened. I've been ever accused of it, and I'm not giving it.
You know what?
Not me.
You know
I'm
what,
not giving the no, not me. But what I have seen, what I'm saying
is, good. I'm sorry.
What I have seen is women become offended at a high. I have seen that. Once again, it hadn't happened to me, but I have seen, and the thing is, I don't know what the history between that male and that young lady was. So there may be more to it. So I'm not saying that that woman was not harassed in the past, and now his simple high reminds her of what happened in the past. But
just because you haven't witnessed it doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we have to be. Yeah, that's what we have to be very careful, because what we're saying, what we're telling people now, if I'm a student and I come to you and I say, Mr. Seiko, this happened to me, right? And you're like, you know what? Yeah, I didn't see it happen. You good? What you're actually doing is shutting me down. You're saying that my experience is not valid, right? You're saying, oh no, it doesn't happen. I don't do it. My cousin doesn't do it. You know, my frat brothers don't do it. You're gonna be all right. So what women are saying is, this is happening to us, and what we're saying is, well, I've never seen it happen. You know, I don't do that to people. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way white folks say there is no racism. Police don't harass or racially profile. It's the same thing. When they'll be like, or a white person says, I've never seen it happen. I never seen nobody white do it. Nobody in my family does it, but it happens. Somebody's doing it.
I agree with you on that. All right. So in this article, he talked about street harassment, and he also referred to men, particularly black men, and more particularly straight black men, are not supportive of the women's empowerment, women's rights, women's equality struggles. And I kind of look at that part of the argument kind of like a person's talking about black on black crime. Like when he talked about that black women are most likely going to be harmed by a black man, that harkens me back to the data that we see on the stupid idea of black on black crime. Now, you and I both know that in a black neighborhood, they commit crime upon each other. In a white neighborhood, they commit crime upon each other. In a predominantly quote unquote Latino, Hispanic, white neighborhoods, they commit crime on each other. And normally, and in most cases, whites marry whites, or they have relations with whites, and people, for the most, are going to stick to whatever group they identify with, if it's plural or not. Okay. And so there would be more destructive acts towards black women by quote unquote black men. I don't think that's particular to straight black men. It sounds like something that's a men problem, and the way that he talked about it in this article took a men's problem and pointed at a very specific group of men, and that's where I think it went wrong.
Okay. And let me do me a favor. Do me a big favor. And I talked about this on my podcast.
Okay.
Go into a room of black women. Go into a room of black women and ask them, have they ever been in a domestic violence situation or assaulted by a significant other? Ask them. Go ahead and ask them. And I'm not surprised, right? I come from a home in domestic violence. I'm not surprised at the numbers, but the numbers will shock you, right? Now, go ahead, sir. Now, go into a barbershop.
Okay.
A little residential. So then go into a barbershop and just talk about. So go to a barbershop and just bring up, bring up the discussion, because if you just ask straight out, half the cats are not gonna admit it. But if you say, when is it okay to hit a woman, right? And you're gonna have in a barbershop full of 15 black men, you probably have half of them admit that they put their hands on a woman. Right. You see what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is we should, number one, we should not be like, oh, we're just, we have these numbers, the numbers are going to be right? Because at the same time, I could say that gun violence in my community, if one young brother is murdered, we are messing up, right? And if I'm sitting in a barbershop with my brothers and half of them are putting their hands on their women, we got a problem, right? And all of us, everybody I know someone who was assaulted by their significant other, knew about it and never said anything. Right. And I'm not saying go to the police about it. I'm saying, hey, bro, that's not cool. We're not gonna do that. We don't do that in our community. Right. Or when a relative or a friend says so and so is beating me up, we say it's none of my business. Or, well, I need to know what's going on. Or we say you must have done something to get hit. So again, this is what the article is saying. The article is saying two things. We need to acknowledge the pain of our sisters. Okay. And number two, we have to hold one another accountable. And we refuse to do that. We refuse to do that. I totally on every conceivable level.
I totally agree with the way that you just talked about those 2 points. But the examples that he gave to me gave me great pause because once again it harkens back.
And so Seiko, what we're dealing with now is semantics.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I agree with the points. I just didn't agree with the examples.
Okay. And again, that's semantics, but ultimately we're having that problem, right?
Yeah. And we got to do something about it. Collectively.
And I hate to cut this off, but I gotta go.
Okay. Before you go, talk about your podcast. What's the name of it, real quick?
Where My Killa Tape At. It deals with 90s nostalgia, and we do current events. It gets dropped every Monday, late Monday night or early Tuesday morning. You can find me on iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud. Where My Killa Tape At on the Dan Tres Omi.
All right, that's what's up. Yo, Dan Tres, good talking with you. Right. Peace. All right. So that's another episode of Fly Guy, doing the Fly Guy thing. And it's your Fly Guy, DJ Seiko. I'm saying to my brother Dan Tres, and I'm saying to you as well, stay fly. Peace.